Welcome to this demonstration for protecting hybrid vSphere infrastructures from public clouds with Cohesity's Data Protect Cloud Edition on AWS. This demonstration, I'm going to showcase one of the new use cases that have become available with the release of Data Protect CE on AWS. Here, I'll be showing how to protect a vSphere infrastructure from a private data center perspective directly to a public cloud, in this case AWS. This is all being done without having the need or the requirement to have an on-prem Cohesity cluster. And I'll start directly from the AWS console. We're going to take a look at the actual appliances that have been deployed to form the Cohesity cluster. So I'm going to go into my EC2 settings. I'll look at the instances just to make sure that everyone can see that there are three specific appliances that have been deployed, which actually form the cluster. Cohesity, with its deployments on AWS, we leverage or we implement our replication factor of 1 or 2, depending on how large the cluster you want it to be and the level of availability you may want to include in it. So we have that capability. So here, that cluster is basically formed of 3 nodes. Here is the actual cluster itself. You're looking at some of the new refreshed interface that we have for the new Orion release. So here's a vSphere infrastructure, which is basically running a couple of workloads. This is a hybrid infrastructure, as you would imagine. A converged infrastructure, none of the less. Here I have a number of virtual machines based on a specific web DB tier type of applications that I want to protect. They're running on virtual SAN behind some NSX networking constructs. But now the point is that I actually want to protect an on-prem infrastructure directly from the cloud. No replication, just straight up protecting it. So here typically we go through the process of creating the requirements for creating a protection job within Cohesity. A couple of steps. We'll start by creating or defining the actual policy itself. Remember, it's all about mitigating risks from operational management and inefficiencies. We achieve that by implementing a policy framework. Here you can see we provide a name, the schedule, when the backup should start, for how long should it be retained, whether the backups now could be done incremental only or incremental in full. So some new goodies here. All simplified into a much easier and consumable interface. A lot of options in terms of extending different capabilities. Replication or archival, we're not going to do any of that. We're just basically going to create a protection job. Here we can actually now fully create the actual protection job itself. Now we have to define the job. So we created the policy. Now we create the actual protection job, which is going to carry out the actual functions. I typically tend to provide a name that means something so that I can actually track it within the environment. Provide a description, choose the actual storage domain where the data will be stored. Actually, we'll call it a view box. A lot of different settings in terms of capabilities that are available. Ranging from quality of service, which is basically priority, and also identifying the tier, the type of storage devices which will be stored. In this case, magnetic disks. Here you can see that we can actually, I'm going to perform a search, particularly on a folder basis, because I manage my infrastructure as a traditional vSphere admin that I am. I typically keep everything within a folder. And here I'm going to protect the folder, but I'm also going to allow an auto protect, so that anything that is dynamically added to that particular folder is automatically protected and pulled into AWS in my data protection region, so that I can actually contain and maintain everything securely and safe. The job actually gets kicked off the minute we sort of complete it. Let's look at the actual status of the job, and actually the job is already running. Now I'm going to speed up the process here, where it takes it just took some minutes, but I'm going to speed it up for the sake of not keeping everyone watching for a long period of time just to look at a bar here. But it's pretty quick. It doesn't take that long. But as you can see here, the job is actually progressing. Once the job is successfully completed, you can actually go and look at the individual components and the actual process that happened within each protection of each individual VM and application. Now, this could happen in many different ways: virtual infrastructures, applications themselves, everything that Cohesity data platform and Data Protect provide that are available now will be accessible through AWS. And here you can track everything that's done, the size, the read, the written, whether or not the SLAs were satisfied and successful. And then we can also look at the job itself once again, that it was successfully completed. And it's all that simple. And it's all ready to go in AWS. Thank you for watching.